Hi everyone. So today I have all picked and gutted for you a DOM RS Sigma. So you got the key right here. This is I guess I'll call it a standard pin tumbler lock. 6 pins. It does have some kind of key control features. These little miscellaneous pins that are over here in the tray. They actually go on the plug in these bottom holes. They come in at angles and they impact the key. You can see there's 5 divots on this side. The other side has 3 divots. There's 6 places on the left and right where those key control pins could be. So this one could have up to 8. It only had 5 as far as I could tell when I got it open. So those are just key control. Again, they don't impact picking, but they're there. If you didn't have the right cuts in here, when you put the key in the lock, you can see that there's grooves right here on the sides. If you didn't have the right cuts, the key would push those pins out of the plug into those grooves and the lock would turn. So, but again, from a picking perspective, those don't come into play. So as far as what's actually in this lock, no milling in the plug. These drivers, though, are really weird. You can't see it here, so I'm going to actually zoom in a little bit and bring these up for more detail. So, if you check these out, so there's a really extreme close-up of these pins, but you can see these they're almost like barrel drivers, but hopefully you can see on that one, not only is it milled on the ends, but it's milled and then it flares back out again, kind of like a barrel, but it's not really a barrel. And that kind of weird geometry on the top and bottom of the pins gives it really weird feedback. This also had 2 spools, and hopefully you can see on the spools there, the ends, again, they have like a weird geometry. They're not just kind of flat edged, they angle in towards the middle. So the spools were less weird to deal with than these kind of weird barrel-y type drivers. Yeah, they just give really bizarre feedback, and when I'm trying to pick them, I end up like oversetting them on accident. They're just really weird to deal with. They didn't quite feel like barrels. There's no milling in the plug again for them to get stuck in. But yeah, they just kind of do this weird feedback thing. You got to kind of push them up through multiple clicks, and sometimes they like hang bizarrely. And this lock gave me a lot of trouble, to be perfectly honest, for being just as I said, a quote unquote simple pin tumbler lock. This one did have some mastering in it. There were 5 wafers, 2 in one chamber, and then 3 other chambers. Each had 1 wafer. So, but that doesn't really, again, come into play for picking. But it was necessary for the key to work. So the mastering is present. I think that's kind of it. Oh, the other thing. Never mind. One more thing I want to talk about. This keyway. So you can see there, this keyway has got some really weird angles to it. Center it a little bit. So I was picking off of this piece of warding right here and angling my pick up this way. But kind of sometimes when I need to get under a pin and I would angle my pick this way, it would slide off this piece of warding and then come underneath here, and then I'd either get caught on this piece of warding or I'd be picking at a weird angle and I'd get caught on this piece of warding. So this is the angle right here off of this and then lifting up that I was trying to achieve, and I kind of sometimes would get caught in different pieces of this. But yeah, this keyway is funky too. It's a little bizarre. So yeah, there you go. That's the DOM RS Sigma. As far as picking, I had a couple drivers that got stuck at the very bottom of their travel, and I had to slip the pick under and kind of click them up. But then, again, I would click up past this first piece of milling on the drivers, and then it would get to this thinner spot, and then they wouldn't bind anymore, and I have to lift another one, and then they would bind, and I have to go back and lift this one again because it was bound on the thick part, and then once I got them lifted, I'd get caught again in this little piece of the driver on the bottom. Yeah, these drivers are weird. It's my first experience with these kind of bizarre Dom drivers, and it was definitely a challenge. Again, this is rated blue belt in the Lockpickers United rating scheme, but this gave me way more trouble than a blue belt lock probably should, um, or has in the past. But I did get it open finally. But there you go, Dom RS Sigma. Let's get over to the next section, and I will get it all picked and gutted. All right, Dom RS Sigma, he works. Let's see what we can do here. This is pin 2. We'll click F3. 6. That was 5. Ooh, there's a good false set right there. Alright, I should be one spool away from opening. As long as I can keep this pick on the right pin. Let me grab something taller. It's a high lift spool. And I just want to make sure that I don't lose it. There we go. Alright, that's open. This lock punched above its size, I'll be perfectly honest with you. It was a little rough to learn the feedback on some of these pins. Alright, here. I'm going to need a shim. I'm going to need a follower. And I'm going to need my pliers. So there you go. It's open. You can see there. Alright, relocked it. Pry this off. Some stuff's going to fall out of here when I take this out, for sure, because there are like some weird key control pins in the sides of this lock, and they're just kind of hanging out there, and so when I take this out, they are going to fall. I can almost guarantee it, so don't be alarmed. They're here on the sides, but like the side bottoms. Oops, there was one right there. See? I told you so. Okay, so that's one of the key control pins. There's less key control pins than there are key control spots in the key. But just to show you, like, so there's another one right there. So when I gutted this the first time, they kind of fell out, and I just kind of stuck them back in wherever they would go. There's another one. So I think I had 3 in one side and 2 in the other. Oops. I don't know if you saw that. This stuck to my finger. This has mastering in it too. So I'm going to take the key. How do I want to do this? There's so many little fiddly bits in this lock. I'm going to take the key out. There went a bunch more key control pins. Okay, so I think that's all 5 of those. So yeah, those fit in the plug. You can see that there's spots for those, and they're on both sides. So there's 6 possible spots for the key control pins. There's 3 divots on this side of the key, and there's 5 on this side. So this could have up to 8 key control pins in it, but it only had these 5. So I don't know why. That's just how it was. Okay, I'm gonna dump these, and there are master wafers in here, so this is gonna be a little tricky. So there was a master wafer, and that's my key pin right there. And these wafers, you can see how they are tiny little master wafers, but I need all these for the key to work. So there's another one with a little tiny master wafer. Pin number 3 or 4? 4. No mastering there. And that one you can see is a torpedo. No mastering there. That one, it's got 2 master wafers. And lastly, 1 master wafer and a pin. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 master wafers in here. I'll zoom in on the plug in a minute, but there's no overmilling there. All right, let's check out these drivers. So driver number 1. See, it's kind of a barrel-y sort of thing. Driver number 2. Another kind of barrel sort of thing. Driver number 3. Another one. Driver number 4. That is a spool. Driver number 5. That is a spool. And driver number 6. Another one of these kind of barrel things. Okay, let's get the springs out. There they all are. Okay, let's bring this up and adjust my zoom. Okay, so you can see there, you can kind of see, let me find a good spot for this. Bear with me as I adjust my focus, as usual. That's a pretty good view right there. Okay, so you can see those kind of barrel-y looking things. They're not barrels, but if you look at this one, you can see how they have the tapered sections. Then they kind of flare out at the end a little bit. These spools, you can see they're not normal spools. They are, again, they kind of angle in a little bit. So these drivers are like a weird pain in the butt. to be perfectly honest. Um, you like lift them, and then they end up in this weird tapered section, and then you gotta like lift them through that too, and then there's a little flared section at the bottom. Very weird drivers. Just that one spool I had to lift through, which I think was number 4 here. But again, you can kind of see like just the I guess it's reverse flared on the spools. They angle inwards, so you do get again weird feedback from that. So yeah, it's for something that is rated, within the LPU belt system, rated blue. This one was tough. So, but yeah, nothing. I thought maybe there might be some kind of milling in here. There's no milling. I think it's all just the weird drivers. And then there you can see now the key control spots on both sides. And then also the keyway on this lock. I'm sure you can see just how weird that keyway is. It's got a lot of kind of bizarre curves in it. And my pick constantly, I was picking off this piece of warding right here. But then if I had to angle my pick to get under a pin, it would sometimes slip down into this bottom section. And then when I tried to lift, I would hit another piece of warding, either this one or this one right here, and think I was lifting a pin and I'd be stuck on the warding. So, that one's bizarrely difficult for, what's actually in there. But again, that is a Dom RS Sigma. There's my key again. But there you go. I did get that open. Picked and getted. Thanks for watching.